तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविष्णु नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रसारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महाबदन्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So welcome everyone. Okay, so कल हमने क्या डिस्कस किया था? What we discussed yesterday? Some points.
So I can start with it. I noticed some
किशोर माधव बोलिए.
point like we discussed chanting in Harinama is like food as well, food also and medicine also. This point we discussed.
नहीं, दोबारा से बताइए, सुनाई नहीं
Refer
दे.
to Avidya and jaundice actually.
एक मिनट. हाँ, दोबारा से बताइए क्या बोल रहे हैं?
Chanting Harinama is like food also
हाँ.
and medicine also.
Yes, yes.
Chanting Harinama is like food as well as medicine, both together.
ठीक. Yes, nice.
And then importance of cultivation. Like we have to be gardener of our own Bhakti Lata beach.
Yes. Yes. Anything else? Anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandak Praman. Prabhuji, you have also explained how it is important that with seva, one should cultivate and understand the scriptural injunctions and apply them in our life, study scriptures, hearing it is very important, because otherwise what happens that we go for seva, and if we are not spiritually stable, then it may create havoc. That point I liked very much.
Yes. Galagraha. Srila Prabhupada says that our sadhana should be there. Sharanam Kirtanam is the fundamental process, and every other thing should go along with Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam and Kirtanam is not optional. It's everything should go along with that. Yes, this we understood. Yes, yes. Any other point? हरे कृष्णा. ठीक है, अभी किसी को याद नहीं आ रहा है. ओके, हाँ. यमुना विलास बोलिए.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would like to share the point from Srila Prabhupada's purport, where he writes that what is this jaundice disease? So when one is very much interested in materialistic way of life than in Krishna consciousness, that is a disease, Prabhupada writes. And Prabhupada writes that the normal condition of life is when we are situated in our constitutional position, Jivera Swarupa Hoye Krishna Nityadas. So that is the normal healthy condition. So, and then Prabhupada writes that, the chanting is the solution. And one more point that I liked, this two words from the verse, Adarat and Anudinam. That Adarat, we have to chant the holy name carefully and attentively. And Anudinam is daily on a everyday basis. There should be some commitment. You were mentioning the point that there should be some commitment in our chanting. So these 2 points I liked very much.
Sankhya Purvaka Naam Gana Natabi. Sankhya Purvak. There should be Sankhya. Some Sankhya should be there. One should not say that I am not feeling that my quality of chanting is not very good, so I will not chant these many rounds. दो माला अच्छे से करो, मन से करो, उतना ही करना है. No, you increase the quantity, and then what will happen if somebody is chanting 2 hours a daily, may not be attentive, but just imagine, or just we can foresee that for lifelong is chanting 2 hours every day. So it has greater impact. Though it is said that one holy name is sufficient in liberating all of us, but that one holy name will not come so easily. It has to be cultivated, practiced. Once we become do practice, then that holy name Suddhanam will come out later. Yes, nice. Yes, who else? ठीक है.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, we also discussed yesterday Bakonanda Nyay. जो you explain where कि बैल मारता है फिर भी उसके पीछे पीछे भागता है. तो similarly we feel कि by my endeavor, own endeavor, I will get everything. So this material life is fully dependent on wills of Lord. This is the one point. And another point, we saw the curve, happiness curve, where you explain the spiritual happiness and material happiness. One is increasing and other is downside. Then again we discuss the another point, chanting with great care and attention, where you explain the राघव पंडित एग्जाम्पल कि वो कैसे वो नारियल लाता है और वो नौकर ऐसे हाथ लगाता है सीलिंग को और वो बोलता है कि अभी ये ऑफर नहीं कर सकते दिस वाला. And then we saw कि this avidya means this is the misconception, and this avidya create ahankar which arises in the heart, and the only solution is the chanting. So you shared one point that 99% of our advancement is depend upon how we chant nicely.
Nice, many points. Yes. So this Bakanando Nyay is for Durashraya. Hope against hope. Materialistic people are having hope against hope that tomorrow I will be happy by my hard work, by some new invention, new technology. So Prabhupada mentions people try to rectify one mistake by making another mistake. So that is the thing. So they want to become happy, which is Durashraya, because they have taken shelter of material energy of the Lord and they want permanent happiness, which is not possible. Even for material energy to give some happiness, it has to be sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. Balasyaneha Sharanam Pitaro Nrsimha. So, Tavad Dibho Tanupitam Tad Upekshitanam. If Lord Nrsimha Upeksha, if he does Upeksha of somebody, then that person cannot be saved. Avasya Rakshive Krishna Viswasa Palan. So, Krishna will protect those who take shelter of him. But if somebody is taking material energy shelter, then Krishna says, okay, you are at your own risk. You take care of yourself. Therefore, Krishna says that Devi Yasha Gunmai Mam Maya Durate Mameva Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So Maya business is to make us forgetful of Krishna. And when we become forgetful of Krishna, Maya business is to give us shelter. Because we are Jiva, we have to take shelter. Without shelter, there is nothing. We have to breathe air, we have to eat, we have to follow so many rules and regulations. Why? Because we are dependent, we are taking shelter. And these rules are given by Maya, ultimately Lord, but if you forget Lord, then these rules are given by Maya. So we take shelter of Maya to remain healthy, to remain rich, to remain knowledgeable. We take shelter of Maya. So Krishna says, you have to take shelter of me. Then only you will be free from this durashraya. Bahirarthamanina. Yes, this is one point. Yes, and many other points. Yes, we have to chant properly. Correct. Okay. Now we'll start with the today's session. See, last one was chanting the holy name. Means chanting with the beginning, Nama, and then ahead also. Now we are going to the eighth one. तन्नामरूपचरितादिसुकीर्तितानु
तन्नामरूपचरितादिसुकीर्तिता सुकीर्तनानि
स्मृत्यो क्रमेण रसना मनसि नियोज्य
स्मृत्यो क्रमेण रसना मनसि नियोज्य
तिष्ठन् व्रजे तदनुरागि जनानुगामी
तिष्ठन् व्रजे तदनुरागि जनानुगामी
कालं नयेदखिलम् इत्य उपदेशसारम्
कालं नयेद् अखिलम् इत्युपदेशसारम्
किशोर माधवपुर पढ़िए इसका ट्रांसलेशन.
The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time 24 hours a day in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Goloka Vrindavan Dhama, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. Continue.
Yes,
Hmm.
we'll discuss. So here, okay, last shloka was chanting, inspiration. That chanting is not very palatable, but that is a medicine. Now from here, we are learning here that एक मिनट ये आठवां है ना. हाँ, अभी यहाँ पे तद अनुरागी आ गया, मतलब ये रागानुगा भक्ति पे आ गया. वो पिछला जो श्लोक था कहाँ तक था वो? That was Vaidhi Bhakti. In Sadhana Bhakti there are two Bhakti. In Sadhana Bhakti there is a Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. ठीक है, दो है. So Sadhana Bhakti means basically practice. That is called sadhana. Practicing, cultivation. ठीक है. Now Vaidhi, in sadhana there are two, Vaidhi and Raganuga. So Vaidhi means what? Practice, you are getting inspiration from Shastras, the injunction of Shastra, or by the orders of Guru. Both are similar. गुरु का आदेश लेके या शास्त्र का उपदेश लेके, जो भी आदेश या उपदेश जो भी है लेके भक्ति करना, उसको क्या बोलते हैं? साधना, वैधि भक्ति. ठीक है. सो दैट इज वैधि. वैधि मीन्स विधि विधान, फॉलोइंग रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस. So Guru gives some rules and regulations, Shastras gives. So inspiration is that. Then we are in Vaidhi Bhakti. Then Raganuga is what? When spontaneous attraction for Lord comes. How? Like somebody develops spontaneous attraction for seeing the Lord. So we put alarm to wake up early in the morning. But Bhakta in the Raganuga stage, without alarm only wakes up because he is remembering Lord actually. So he thinks that Lord, before Lord wakes up, I should wake up and I should bathe myself, clean myself, everything, and put tilak, and then go and wait for the Lord to give darshan. Spontaneous. So then inspiration is coming from what? Inspiration is coming because of attraction towards the Lord. And surely attraction towards the Lord is through some bhakti process only, like chanting, remembering Him, or glorifying Him. So that is Raganuga platform. But again, Raganuga platform also, we will be reading that ahead, also includes the following of Ragatmika Bhakta. Who are Ragatmika Bhaktas? Ragatmika Bhakta means those who are already perfected and they are in the rasa of Vatsalya, Madhurya, Sakhya. They are in that rasas. So when we follow them, then we have to follow their activities, how they are remembering Krishna, what is their meditation. So we have to copy that. Copying होता है, वो कॉपी पहले नहीं कर सकते, पहले किया तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, कॉपी बाद में, पहले परफेक्शन, पहले वैदिक क्लियर होने के बाद फिर ये चालू होता है. एक्चुअली देयर आर सम अदर अंडरस्टैंडिंग आल्सो कि रागानुगा कैन बी स्टार्टेड राइट नाउ आल्सो, बट दिस राइट नाउ स्टार्टिंग रागानुगा is basically by force, because we are not too much interested about Krishna. You cannot be too much interested about Krishna unless you are liberated. Very simple thing. Because we yesterday we read, unless you are not liberated, till the time you are not liberated, the taste for holy name does not arise. So where is the question of Raganuga? The taste for holy name, Ram, Rup, Guna, हुआ ही नहीं है तो फिर Raganuga कहाँ से? So some devotees they say, yeah, Raghunath Das Goswami also mentions that there is a force Raganuga, means you can make yourself like that I want to remember Krishna spontaneously. But that is not very easy to do, and it is not the real Raganuga. The real Raganuga comes after we complete Vaidi. Okay? And in Vrindavan, there is a Raganuga Bhakti. There is no Vaidi Bhakti. Vaidi Bhakti Vrindavan में नहीं चलता है. Vaidi Bhakti Vaikuntha में चलता है बस. In Vaikuntha, Vaidi Bhakti goes, but not Raganuga. So Radha Krishna can only be worshipped in Raganuga. They cannot be worshipped in Vaidi. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, in our temples, we are worshipping Lakshmi Narayan. Though we have Radha Krishna Archa Vigraha. But Prabhupada said, you have to see them, because so many rules, regulations you have to follow. Na? Because in Raganuga, no rules. Raganuga में कुछ ऐसे rules होता नहीं है कि आप जाके भूत शुद्धि करो, 24 आचमन करो, भूत शुद्धि करो, फिर ये अंदर जाओ, फिर ये मंत्र पढ़ो, वो मंत्र पढ़ो. ये सब वैदी है. Raganuga, no mantra. Spontaneous love is there for the Lord. So therefore, Radha Krishna worship is in Raganuga. It is not in Vaidi. So therefore Prabhupada says that our temples we have Lakshmi Narayan. We are worshipping Lakshmi Narayan because we are following rules regulations. Okay. Now, at the same time, it has to be followed under the order of Guru. Means even though it is said that you are beyond the order of Guru, inspiration is not that, but still it should be under some guidance. Yes, that should be there. So this is the whole thing. So now, what is the most important for any human, or even in the beginning of this NOI we learnt? One thing is attitude of a follower. Another thing was what? The first duty of any spiritual being is to control one's mind and senses. So that comes here in action. Here comes it in action. Before one comes to Raganuga, his mind and senses has to be fully controlled. नहीं तो वैदिक करते रहो बस. माइंड एंड सेंसेस कंट्रोल नहीं है तो वो ये रागानुगा में नहीं घुस सकता. बिकॉज रागानुगा रिक्वायर्स 24-hour engagement. 24 hour one is engaged without anybody's interference. मतलब कोई बोलना नहीं चाहिए कि आप प्रभु जी ये कर लो, माता जी ये कर लो, कुछ नहीं. स्पॉन्टेनियस है ना वो. So 24-hour engagement is there without any kind of inspiration. Inspiration is inside heart. So it means the mind and senses has to be fully niyojya. The word used here, niyojya. पूर्ण रूप से यूज हो जाना चाहिए, एकदम engage हो जाना चाहिए. So we know that in Bhava stage also, what is that? अव्यर्थ कालत्वम. अव्यर्थ कालत्वम. अव्यर्थ कालत्वम. व्यर्थ नहीं करना है. अव्यर्थ मतलब सभी समय को यूज कर देना है. तो वो होता है अव्यर्थ कालत्वम. सो हियर नियोज्य. नाउ टू थिंग्स आर सेड टू बी नियोज्य. क्या नियोज करना है? रसना मनसी. रसना मीन्स टंग and mind. Therefore Srila Prabhupada used to say, by chanting holy name and by hearing holy name you can perfect your life. For hearing we require mind to be fixed up. ठीक है, रसना तो हो गया, चैंटिंग हो गया, लेकिन उसको सुनने के लिए, अटेंटिव सुनने के लिए मन चाहिए। मन कहीं भागता रहता है, मतलब माइंड इज नॉट नियोज्य, रसना इज नियोज्य, बट माइंड इज नॉट नियोज्य. So it is mentioned that Tana Nam Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu, means by name, Roop, Charitra, Lord's qualities, and his form, his name, Adi, Nam Roop Gundlila, and his Kirtan. Kirtan can be done of his holy name. Kirtan is also there. His message can also be spread. That is also Kirtan. Kirtan has book distribution is also Kirtan. So all this doing, then smrityo kramena. Then one has to remember always, because remember the Lord. Then that is the way to control the mind. क्रमेण धीरे धीरे क्या करना है, रसना मनसी नियोज्य, मन और टंग को एंगेज कर देना फुल. देन वन कैन गो टू ब्रज भूमि, तिष्ठन ब्रजे तद अनुरागी जनानुगामी. अच्छा, क्यों जाना है ब्रज में? फिर ब्रज में क्यों जाना है? अनुरागी जनानुगामी, जो व्रज में रागानुगा भक्त है, अनुरागी, दोज वर इन सर्टेन मूड ऑफ वर्शिपिंग कृष्णा, लाइक यशोदा मैया और सुबल सखा को वर्शिप, मतलब कृष्ण का कैसे सखा बनना है या कृष्ण का गोपी कैसे बनना है, दैट तद अनुरागी जनानु अनुगामी, उनका अनुगामी बनने के लिए जाना है. तिष्ठन ब्रजे तद अनुरागी जनानुगामी. हर एक चीज स्पेशली मेंशन्ड फॉर सर्टेन पर्पज. वन हैज टू गो टू ब्रजा टू बिकम अनुगामी. किसका अनुगामी? अनुरागी, जो अनुरागी है उसका अनुगामी बनना है, इसके लिए जाना है. अभी कई लोग जाते हैं माइंड कंट्रोल करने के लिए ब्रज में, वो मुश्किल है. बिकॉज देखो, शिला प्रभुपाद, somebody used to go to, like somebody went out of the ISKCON temple and went and met some Babaji in the Radha Kund. And Babaji said, what you are doing? You have a good opportunity to become gopi, and I will give you the Siddha Pranali mantra, I will make you gopi. So then, or basically, he was teaching how to become a peacock of Krishna. Then he was just moving the head like that. And then he taught him, you should speak in a way the peacock speak. ऐसे ऐसे सर हिला के वो तैयारी करने लगा पिकॉक बनने के लिए. Then he came to temple and he was doing like this, ऐसे ऐसे. So then devotees asked, what is this? So this is my sadhana now. I am trying to become peacock of Krishna. You cannot become peacock of Krishna unless रसना मनसी नियोज्य. रसना मनसी नियोज्य नहीं है तो क्या पिकॉक बनेंगे? Not possible. So therefore, it is, the process is very clear here mentioned. And kalam nayed akhilam, full 24 hours engage हो जाएगा जब भगवान की सेवा में. इत्य उपदेश सारम, यही सारे उपदेश का सार है. बिकॉज साधना भक्ति इज वॉट, ये न केन प्रकारेण मन कृष्ण निवेशेत. किसी भी तरीके से कृष्ण में मन लगाओ, बिकॉज मन लग गया तो सब सेंसेस भी लग जाते हैं. ओके, नाउ दिस इज अ परफेक्शन हियर इन रागानुगा. रागानुगा सेज इत्य उपदेश सारम, जितने मैंने उपदेश दिए सबका सार यही है. क्या है? कालम नयेद अखिलम, जितना भी समय है भगवान की सेवा में नियोज्य कर दो. ये काल यही है सबका. तो बेसिकली व्हेन वी ऑल आर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, और बेसिकली वी आर लिविंग बीइंग. So living being is made up of emotion, is made up of intelligence and emotion both. When our emotions are highly attracted towards certain things, then we can be totally engaged. That's why the manasi is used, not intelligence. Why intelligence is not used? Okay, manasi. Why manasi is used? Because the mind has an emotion. Mind has an emotion. Surely, somebody can ask you, but which is the material mind or spiritual mind? Atma also has a mind. So mind is a function of basically doing emotional things. Like this relationship is on the mind. Intelligence can discriminate what is good, what is wrong, but generally the feeling of emotions, the feeling of love is on the mind level. So when mind is somewhere else, then mind is so strong, then it can even pull away the intelligence also. Yes, That is possible. So mind is so strong. So that is why it is said here. Mind should be engaged. There. Savai manah Krishna padaravindayor vachamsi vaikuntha gunanu. It begins with the mind. If mind is not engaged, other things. Uh, Mind is the leader of all the senses. So if it is engaged, all others are engaged. If it is not engaged, then others are trying to get engaged because mind is not allowing them. So Upadesa Saram is this only. All the time should be engaged by engaging our tongue and mind in Krishna Seva. Okay. ठीक है मुकुंद पाद प्रभु जी पढ़िए सिंस यस
ट्रांसलेशन ही पढ़ना है ना
हाँ ट्रांसलेशन पर्पट ट्रांसलेशन नहीं पर्पट
Since the mind may be one's enemy to one's friend, one has to train the mind. Just a second, Prabhuji. Since the mind may be one's enemy or one's friend, one has to train the mind to become his friend. The Krishna consciousness movement is especially meant for training the mind to be always engaged in Krishna's business. The mind contains hundreds and thousands of impressions, not only of this life but also of many, many lives of the past. These impressions sometimes come in contact with one another and produce contradictory pictures. In this way, the mind's function can become dangerous for a conditioned soul. Students of psychology are aware of the mind's various psychological changes. In Bhagavad Gita 8.6, it is said, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah.
whatever state of
Remember, there is some problem Roji, in book. What whatever state of the of being one remembers when he quits his body, the state he will attain without fail. At
okay 1 minute we'll discuss now. So Prabhupada also begins with the purport. It begins his purport with the mind. The mind is very very important, and the whole yoga process is just to control the mind. तो मन के अच्छे कार्य क्या हैं, मन के बुरे कार्य क्या हैं. So good work of mind is mind works like a transmitter. हमारी चेतना का प्रवाह शरीर और इस संसार में. So we are soul and our consciousness is transferred into this world or into this body through mind. ठीक है. So mind is a medium through which the consciousness transferred to this body and the world. And processor संवेदी जानकारी को समझने में मदद. Basically processor in the sense sometimes somebody say intelligence is a processor. So processing means mind also process. ये अच्छा है बुरा है, अच्छा है ये अच्छा स्वाद नहीं है बुरा स्वाद है, ऐसा मेरे को उतना मज़ा नहीं आ रहा है. So this is like that. So he is also like a mind works also like a processor because mind has. So there are two minds. One is called conscious mind, which is up, and subconscious mind is down. Conscious mind is conscious, always trying to find out what is right, what is wrong. Like मतलब चेक करता रहता है वो अपने एक्सपीरियंस के हिसाब से. Conscious है, but it is a fickle. It's not like an intelligence, okay? And then what is this subconscious mind? Subconscious mind is a repository. Means whatever we see, whatever our senses are bringing to mind is first stored in subconscious mind. Directly हो जाता है वो. लेकिन it is properly stored when the conscious mind is not uh, is not active. Like example, like if conscious mind is very much active and going some, like we're chanting holy name, so our chanting should go to the subconscious mind actually, and it should clean all the problems, all the anarthas there, because anarthas are there in subconscious mind. But why it does not go down? Because conscious mind takes away the whole thing in some other place, because it's conscious of some other, like we are chanting and we are thinking of prasadam. So then mind conscious, we are consciously not in chanting, we are consciously somewhere else. So that is conscious mind is dragging us away. Okay, so like that. And subconscious mind means what? So my subconscious mind is not very active, and then everything is going to the subconscious mind. So that is very good. So in the morning time, why we chant? Because of this reason, because in morning conscious mind is not very active, so everything directly dumps into the subconscious mind. So therefore we feel very fresh, very awakened or even enlightened we feel when we chant in the morning time. हमें थोड़ा अच्छा लगता है कि हाँ मॉर्निंग में जब किया तो कुछ तो लग रहा है मुझे कि आई हैव चैंटेड माई राउंड्स, because morning it becomes very easy to meditate because conscious mind is not very active. In the daytime conscious mind is active, so mind always thinks अरे मैंने दिन में क्या किया, अरे उसने क्या कह दिया, उसने क्या कह दिया. So therefore conscious mind is very much active, so the holy name, pour of holy name is not going to the subconscious mind. And whatever we see, and so they all directly they are going and they are getting stored in the mind. So mind is basically, it works like a pattern. Pattern means like somebody is learning bicycle, how he has to learn the bicycle, कैसे पकड़ना है कैसे, तो वो माइंड एक बार सीख लेता है तो देन उसको दोबारा सीखने की मतलब वो बस जैसे जाएगा पैडल मारेगा चला देगा साइकिल. सेम पर्सन 2-3 months back was very fearful to hold cycle and drive cycle, but now after 2-3 months he is able to drive cycle so easily. Why? Because the pattern has become set in mind. माइंड में पैटर्न सेट हो गया, कैसे उसको बोलने का भी जरूरत नहीं, लाइक दैट. ओके, सो मन के बुरे कार्य डिस्ट्रैक्टर एंड डिस्टॉर्टर. सो इट डिस्ट्रैक्ट्स, हमारी बुरी आदतों में संलग्न रहना और माया के तड़क भड़क से आकर्षित हो जाना, दिस इज डिस्ट्रैक्टर. सो माइंड कैन गेट डिस्ट्रैक्टेड. एंड डिस्टॉर्टर मीन्स पिछले और पुराने अनुभवों के द्वारा अपनी अभी की समझ को प्रभावित करना. दिस इज व्हाट प्रभुपाद मेंशन्स हियर कि दिस इज वी शुड वेरी मच अवेयर अबाउट इट, दैट माइंड, because it is filled with so many bad sanskaras from many lives, so it can distort our good experience also. Like generally we read last time, neophyte, if you criticize some karmi in front of some neophyte devotee, so then he becomes very much offended. He thinks अरे साधु महाराज ये क्या कर रहे हैं, ये भक्ति थोड़ी है. भक्ति means you should not criticize anyone. You do your things, let them do their things, and just continue. They think like that. So what happens, because they have the karma beej, jnana beej in their mind, and they have not got the proper bhakti sanskara, so they think that this devotee is criticizing because he is not yet so much advanced. I am very much advanced because I don't criticize. The criticism is not on the basis of envy. Criticism is on the basis of to making the things aware that this is Krishna consciousness, this is Maya, and he is in Maya, we should understand, and you should not associate. And such people should be also criticized because Krishna also criticizes them in Bhagavad Gita. So then these people become away, they go away. Therefore it happens with the donors many times. Donors, अगर donors को ज़्यादा heavy कुछ बोल दिया ना, so then they what they अगली बार से डोनेशन बंद, फोन भी नहीं उठाएगा आपका. क्यों? क्योंकि ये लोग क्या है, नियोफाइट रहते हैं. इनके लिए इनको बस मुंह पे अच्छा अच्छा बोलना चाहिए, आप बहुत अच्छे हैं, आप जो कर रहे हैं बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं. So like that. So yesterday we read now there is no relationship of guru and disciple until guru and disciple relation is not established. जब तक वो नहीं होगा तब तो क्या सीखेगा. He understands that they are our friend. Hare Krishna people are our friends. And friend means what? उसको उसकी वाहवाही में आप वाहवाही करो. वो कुछ भी बोलेगा, हाँ अरे अब कितना अच्छा आपने बोला. वो बोलेगा अरे हमको कृष्ण और गोपियों का संग बहुत अच्छा लगता है, अरे वाह 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 आप तो बहुत बड़े कृष्ण के भक्त हैं. बोलना पड़ेगा ऐसे लोग को. अभी कृष्ण का भक्त बन गया तो अभी इफ ही इज इन ट्रेनिंग देन व्हाट विल से, अरे पुलिस पर्सन फर्स्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज दिस. आर यू लिसनिंग भागवतम, आर यू चैंटिंग होली नेम, दिस इज सहजिया. But you cannot speak in front of them. Like one person said to us, I have got two twins, and Prabhuji, you know, these two twins are nothing but avatar of my deities. I worship some Krishna Balaram, and then they have appeared in the form of my two twins. मैंने बोला अरे वाह आप कितने भाग्यशाली हैं. And then he said, you know, I consider Radha and Krishna as my bhaiya and bhabhi. Bhaiya and bhabhi. So I व्हाट आई कैन डू, आई कैन मैंने बोला अभी ज़्यादा बोल दिया तो फिर भाग जाएगा, और भाग भी गया थोड़ा, बिकॉज बोल दिया मैंने ज़्यादा उसको। I understood कि these people are neophyte, less than neophyte, not neophyte also. This is a problem. पिछले या पुराने अनुभवों के द्वारा अभी की समझ को प्रभावित कर देता है वो। तो माइंड इज लाइक दैट, इट डिस्टॉर्ट्स many times. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada clearly says that one should hear directly from bona fide spiritual master and not from his mind. Mind can never be trusted. If mind experience, mind suggestion is matching with Shastras or Guru's words, accept it. If not, then reject it. That is a duty of a sadhaka. बंधुर आत्मात्मनस्तस्य येना आत्मैव आत्मनाजिता अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेत आत्मैव शत्रुवत्. Mind remains one's enemy until it is controlled, and mind becomes friend when it is controlled. So Prabhupada mentions in this purport the whole purpose of practicing eightfold yoga system, because this is from 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So it's a yoga, Ashtanga yoga, is to control mind in order to make it friend in discharging the human mission. Unless mind is controlled, the practice of yoga is simply waste of time. यहाँ पे भी लिखा है और एनओआई के बिगिनिंग में भी लिखा है सेम थिंग. द फर्स्ट ड्यूटी ऑफ spiritual aspirant is he should control mind and sense. One who cannot control his mind lives always with greatest enemy, and thus his life and his missions are spoiled. The constitutional position of living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. What is this? As long as one's mind remains unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictation of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. But when the mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma. The real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictation. For one who takes to Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. So, following the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his representative is mentioned here. That is the way to control the mind, because our natural tendency is that we carry out the order of the superior. So mind has no other work to do, because one becomes convinced, okay, now I have to follow, okay, bolo kya karna hai, so like that. So the whole training begins with this only. Jo bola wo karo. The training in beginning is jo bola wo karo. And when we get trained in that, so then we know, okay, now my mind is diverting me in the wrong direction, because I already got trained for so many years. Now mind is saying something else. It means it is following dictation of lust, anger, avarice and illusion. So that's why the beginning of one's life should be in Gurukula, so that the children can get trained in following the order of Guru. When this happens, then why nowadays parents, they say that my children are not respecting the teachers or the parents, because they are sent to the schools, and school culture is what? It's a sense gratification culture. They are taught for sense gratification. They are taught by sense gratifiers, and their whole goal is also that only. So there is no voluntary submission by disciple or a child to Guru, because of seeing his good character, because of desire to learn from Guru. It's not there. It's not like, okay, I am paying money and then he should teach me, like that. Now, jitatmana prasantasya paramatma samahita sitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha manapamaniyo. Now, what happens when mind gets controlled? This is very important. When mind gets controlled, one has first conquered the mind. The super soul is already reached. Means he has already met with the super soul. Means the Atma has already seen the super soul if mind has become controlled. Then what happens? He attains tranquility. Means he does not become disturbed with happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor. They all become same for him. It means mukti. उसको कुछ अफेक्ट नहीं कर सकता ये. यानी ये वो स्टेज है जिसमें माइंड पूर्ण रूप से कंट्रोल हो गया है, बिकॉज नाउ माइंड इज फॉलोइंग द डिक्टेशन ऑफ परमात्मा. इट हैज सीन परमात्मा and it is now following the dictation of Paramatma. Now any kind of problem, happiness, distress, nothing can disturb the mind, because mind is always following the order of Paramatma. Problem will be there. Nobody says that problem will not be there. Like Prabhupada's life also problem was there. Pure devotee life also problem is there. But does not get disturbed, because it is already met with Paramatma. Seen the Paramatma, the Lord. So now is a fall. The Paramatma will guide, okay, do this thing. In this situation, do this thing. Okay, in this situation, do this thing. Like that. So then he does not get disturbed. He knows that. That whatever is happening by his will, it is happening, and he will tell me what to do. Okay. So actually the living entity is intended to abide by the dictation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in the everyone's heart as Paramatma. When the mind is misled by external illusory energy, one becomes entangled in material activity. Therefore, as soon as one's mind is controlled through one of the yoga system, one is to be considered as having already reached the destination. One has to abide by the superior dictation. When one's mind is fixed on superior nature, he has no alternative but to follow the dictation of the Supreme. The mind must admit some superior dictation and follow it. The effect of controlling mind is that one automatically follows the dictation of Paramatma or Super Soul. Because this transcendental position is at once achieved by one who is in Krishna consciousness, the devotee of the Lord is unaffected by the duality of material existence. So that time when this happens, that's why when this happens, we are going to learn in the purport, then only one can reach to the Samadhi stage, because mind is undisturbed. Mind is undisturbed, so we can reach to the Samadhi stage. And full concentration on the Lord, and 24 hours we can concentrate on the Lord, because mind remains undisturbed. This is the whole thing what we learned just now. So impressions sometimes come in contact with other and then produce contradictory pictures. Okay, what is Manasi Niyojya? The train the mind. Why to train the mind? How to train the mind? Krishna consciousness is for training the mind. Prabhupada mentions here in the यहाँ पे कि Krishna consciousness किसके लिए है? The Krishna consciousness movement is specially meant for training the mind to always be engaged in Krishna's business. कृष्ण का business क्या है? कृष्ण का business है कि कृष्ण को प्रेम करो. वो उनका प्रमुख business है. और also similar प्रेम को बांटो. Love Krishna and distribute the love of Krishna. That is preaching. So practice and enjoy oneself and distribute to others. That is Krishna business. The mind contains hundreds and okay. So now ये क्या है? ये एक minute. Yes. So now 7 purpose of ISKCON, like so this is also like Krishna conscious movement is for training the mind. So how it can match with 7 purpose of ISKCON, we can see. What are 7 purpose of ISKCON? देखो सभी पढ़ेंगे नहीं इसको. 7 पर्पज है, इसको सिंपल बता दिया गया. पहला पर्पज क्या है? एजुकेट करो, educate people. Systematic education should be given, like Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav. These are systematic education. Then second purpose is to preach Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, preach that knowledge. So preaching is separate from education. Okay, education is done for those sincere people. Preaching is done to the new people. Okay. Then make Krishna society. Like we have society in Pune or many places in India or outside also. So centered around a temple, centered around some you can say some sannyasis or who are guiding the whole society. So like that. So make Krishna society. The society is there. So here Prabhupada mentions, bring the members together with each other, nearer to Krishna. Krishna is a prime entity. Okay. Now the spread holy name. Next is spread holy name. हरि नाम को फैलाओ. ये कौन सा है? चौथा हो गया. हरि नाम को फैलाओ क्या बोला इधर? To teach and encourage संकीर्तन मूवमेंट. संकीर्तन मूवमेंट को कॉन्ग्रीगेशनल चैंटिंग को फैलाना है. Then erect holy places. Prabhupada also mentioned erect holy places. This was also given to the Rupa Goswami by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that you have to excavate holy places. Holy places पहले से ही है, उसको खोद के प्रॉपर निकाल के बताओ कि राधा कुंड, श्याम कुंड है ये. That is their job. Now Prabhupada say erect holy places means you have to open new holy places. Like so, like Radhanath Maharaj has made GV. So उधर उन्होंने गोवर्धन बनाया, वृंदावन बना दिया. So erect holy places. Or basically that can also mean temple, elect, because temple is also holy place. So making temples. Then simple natural living is a Sixth purpose, simple natural living. That is also given. Sixth purpose. यहाँ पे लिखा है simpler, more natural way of life. So then what is that? Varnashram system comes here. Simple natural living. That depend on the natural products. And then last is the book distribution. Publish books, write books. So that is to bring the members with a view towards achieving the aforementioned purpose. जो ऊपर लिखा है उसको प्राप्त करने के लिए publish करो, distribute करो, magazines, books, other writings. That is 7 purpose of ISKCON. Educate, preach, make Krishna society, spread holy name, erect holy places, simple natural living, and book distribution. So these all are basically so many ways to engage our mind. Because engaging mind simply does not happen at raga nuga. It has to practice beforehand. Okay. And slowly क्रमेण बोला ना, क्रमेण धीरे धीरे वो engage हो जाएगा. So we have to encircle the mind with all Krishna conscious activities. So training the mind, yoga does connect the soul with the God and the reorientation of the mind. ठीक है, ये भाई कई बार भगवान ने बोला है, 12वें अध्याय में बोला, यहाँ पे बोला है योगा युंजम टू गेट द माइंड बिकम अटैच टू कृष्णा. हियर नियोज्य बोला है, इधर बोला योग युंजम, मई आसक्त मना पार्थ योगम युंजन मद आश्रय. देयर 7.1 it comes. Yogam yunjan mad ashraya means through yoga you should connect to me. Okay, and here rasana manasi niyojya. So again niyojya means connect, means engaged. So we are, yoga also means to engage the mind, engage mind and senses in Krishna seva. That is also meaning of yoga. So both the similar thing. ठीक है. So there can be ठीक है. So yesterday we read that through conviction and commitment we can, our intelligence can go higher than the mind, because mind requires superior dictation to follow, and the intelligence is superior to mind, and so therefore intelligence should be filled with the words of Guru, words of scriptures to guide the mind. So then we need conviction and commitment. The conviction means this process is very right and I am already in disease state, I have to take up this process seriously. Commitment means some practical action we should take. So mind is affected by the lower modes, self-defeating emotion overcome us. Sometimes deep inside water there is a fermentation and bubbles come up. Similarly, some wrong things come up due to the bad impression of the past. Okay. So this is a mind can be discussed at length because it is a great subject, not for the beginners, for even the yoga people also, because it is very subtle. No? It is subtle world. The world of mind is subtle. So gross we can touch, we can feel, but subtle very difficult to understand why it is happening. ऐसा हो ही क्यों रहा, मेरा मन उधर क्यों भाग रहा है, क्यों, why I am not able to withdraw it. It is subtle science. So subtle science we don't like. I have to stop, like somebody who is addicted to drinking tea. So stopping tea, he can do it. Okay, I will not just replace the tea with the milk. So then he can stop slowly. But when it comes to mind, why my mind is thinking about it, उसको रोक पाना मुश्किल हो जाता है, become difficult. It's a subtle world. So therefore Prabhupada is making here that the impressions sometimes come in and produce contradictory pictures. So many impressions are there and one get distracted. So Swabhav is there in the mind. Previous life karma. So karma, there are so many things, samskaras, vritti, and then Swabhava, all these things are there in the mind actually. So whatever activity we do, it forms impressions in the mind. And then that impressions becomes, when we start doing again and again, that becomes samskar. That samskar continues. Many lives continues. If you don't change that samskar with a good samskara, that continues. That's why it is said we should do samskar for the children. Why? Because he might have brought some bad samskara from previous life. So that bad samskaras can be cleansed off till the time that comes out. Why the 4 Kumaras remain 4-year-old children? They did not grow. beyond that. So their mind was growing, but their body did not grow, because it is said that because they understood their lust will grow if the body will grow. So then they purposefully remain at the age of 4 year children, or 4 or 5 year children. Their mind was growing, but body was not growing. So they were not giving facility for those desires to be felt in the body. So they remain children only. Like children, उनको पता नहीं लगता, कहीं भागते रहते, नंगे रहते वो लोग. They are not much affected. Yes, but when a man or woman, they become affected because their body has become grown up, and the facility to enjoy those sanskaras, those vrittis are there in the body. So sanskaras are very important. Good sanskaras has to replace the bad sanskaras. Now this is the last moment, how one can achieve the kingdom of God. Srila Prabhupada mentions here. So this is a very famous sloka. Okay, now Isha Mataji, you are there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
हाँ माता जी पढ़िए. At the time of death.
At the time of death, the mind and the intelligence of living entity create the subtle form of a certain type of a body for next life. If the mind suddenly thinks of something not very congenial, one has to take the corresponding birth in the next life. On the other hand, if one can think of Krishna at the time of death, he can be transferred to the spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan. This process of transmigration is very subtle. Therefore, Rupa Goswami advises devotees to train their mind in order that they will be unable to remember anything other than Krishna. Similarly, the tongue should be trained to speak only of Krishna and to taste only Krishna Prasad. Srila Rupa Goswami further advises Tishtan Braje. One should live in Vrindavan or any part of Brajabhumi. Brajabhumi, or the land of Vrindavan, is supposed to be 84 uh, crosas in area. One crossa equal to square mile. When one makes Vrindavan his residence, he should take shelter of an advanced devotee there. In this way, one should always think of Krishna and his pastimes. This is further elucidated by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu.
कृष्णं स्मरन् जनं चास्य प्रेष्ठं निज समिहितं तत्तत् चासो कुर्याद् वासं व्रजे सदा.
A devotee should always reside in the transcendental realm of Vraja and always engage in Krishnam, Smaranam, Janam, Chasya Preshtham, the remembrance of Sri Krishna and his beloved associates. By following in the footsteps of such associates and by entering under their eternal guidance, one can acquire an intense desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So okay, here it is mentioned that one should reside in the Braj Dham, but before that it is mentioned that one should always try to think Krishna, think about Krishna, and especially at time of death. So it is said in the Bengali also, okay, whatever bhajan you have done, it will be tested at time of death. Whatever bhajan we have done, because at time of death the mind is most turbulent, because now mind has understood my body is not supporting. Now who will fulfill my desire? Eh? And now so many desires are not fulfilled, and so many new are coming. So who will fulfill the desire? And because of so much pain in the body, because of death is approaching, so pain is also there, some disease. So then mind is doing so much flickering from this to that, not able to understand what is happening. Like one part of body becomes failure, malfunction हो जाता है, तो कितना हमें समझ में, मतलब माइंड वहीं पे जाता है. माइंड डायरेक्टली गोज व्हाई इट इज नॉट वर्किंग, व्हाट हैज हैपेंड, अरे इतना दवाई खा लिया फिर भी नहीं चल रहा है. Therefore, it is said that those people who are very much disturbed in their mind or very much not happy in their mind, they get disease very fast, because their emotions are transferred to their physical body. The emotions they transfer how? Through hormones, like hormones, the bad or the disease causing hormones, or some negative thoughts, so then these emotions they transfer in the whole body. So it is said actually, if somebody is quite negative all the time, thinking that my life is useless, मेरे साथ क्या हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है, so then knee pain starts happening, घुटने का दर्द चालू हो जाता है ना. जैसे अर्जुन इन द बिगनिंग ऑफ भगवत गीता शिवरिंग, काँप रहा था, शिवरिंग because of intense grief he was having. How can I deal with such situation? How can I kill my worshipable guru, worshipable grandfather? How can I kill great grandfather? So like that. So then, so this happens when the situation is very intense. Our mind is very much attached, obsessed with those thoughts, cannot understand how to resolve this situation, and at that time the various symptoms starts happening in our body. So especially those devotees or not devotees, other people who are having a disease which can't be cured, तो बार बार सोचते रहते हैं उसके ऊपर, और बार बार दवाई खाते रहते हैं, ऐसा ऐसा हो जाता है उनको. So these people should be given Krishna conscious, very important, because they can, that is only the way for them to come out of that bodily conception or thinking. So Kali Yuga is surely the age of a lot of diseases, lot of mental anxieties, worries, mental illness, dissatisfaction. So in this age, it is all the more important to practice Krishna consciousness. And this, how does Krishna consciousness helps us? Because it withdraws our mind from temporary world to eternal world. It gives us the hope that do not worry, this world is not everything, this body is not everything, this is there, this body is there, it is meant for certain function, but if it is not under my control, then I should not be too much worried, because nothing like nowadays people have so many dissatisfaction. Like one Mataji was saying in our preaching, she said, I am useless. So we asked, why you are useless? Because I am not able to do any job, and all ladies are doing so many jobs. So then the question is asked, okay, so why one should feel that I am useless? There is no other thing to be done. Then no, so many educated ladies are there doing so many jobs. So such kind of dissatisfaction people have by comparison. बच्चों को कंपैरिजन होता है, उसके ज़्यादा मार्क्स आ गए, बड़ों को भी कंपैरिजन होता है. So what is the difference between the adults and children? It's simply a price of the toy. The children have toys which are having very less expenses, and adults also have the toys in their mind attached to their toys which are very expensive toys. There's a difference. So therefore Krishna consciousness makes us understand that neither job nor money nor beauty nor opulence, namo akinchana vittaya nivritta guna vrittaye atma ramaya shantaya kaivalya pataye nama. Krishna is the property of impoverished person. Krishna is a doer, Krishna is the enjoyer, Krishna is the creator. If Krishna has given this hand, it is okay, I can serve. If Krishna has taken away the potency, it is paralyzed now. Now I cannot serve with this hand, no problem, I can serve with other organs. Because one has to understand, ठीक है छोड़ो उसको, अभी क्या कर सकते हैं. Slowly we have to withdraw not only the life from this body, but also our consciousness from the body. That this everything is temporary in this world. Everything is temporary. And we should be convinced of it. तो धीरे धीरे इसके ये होना चाहिए हमारे जीवन में. घटना नहीं घटना है, but I'm saying कि one has to become convinced that everything is temporary in this world. And whatever time I have been given in this body to utilize, I will utilize. And if something happens, I will try to get it okay. Not okay, then जही विधि रखे राम तही विधि रहिए, सीताराम 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 कहिए. जिस तरह राम रखेंगे सीता रखेंगे, रहिए और सीताराम कहते रहिए, बस. यही है फाइनल इंस्ट्रक्शन. तिष्ठन ब्रजे तद अनुरागी. सो ओके, इस जन्म में अनुरागी नहीं बन पाए, अगले जन्म बनेंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लेकिन भगवान का सेवा तो करने का हमेशा इच्छा रखना है. कितने जाने हरिदास ठाकुर ने क्या ये बोला भगवान से, चैतन्य महाप्रभु से, आई वॉन्ट टू बिकम अनुरागी भक्ता. He said, just make me a dog. और लेटर इसे इंसेक्ट बना दो मेरे को, बस. डॉग भी छोड़ो, डॉग बहुत ऊंचा हो गया. इंसेक्ट इन द हाउस ऑफ अ डिवोटी. दिस इज देयर एस्पिरेशन, ग्रेटेस्ट ऑफ डिवोटीज, नामाचार्य. इतना माला करने के बाद डिवोटीज कभी ऐसे नहीं बोलते मुझे तद अनुरागी जन ही बनाओ, बोलते भगवान में उसके लायक ही नहीं. So this is the mercy of the Lord, that He has given us a devotional process to make us understand this material life is useless. It's simply for transmigrating ourselves from this world to spiritual world by making our consciousness pure. So do not consider the success of material world to be eternal success. It is simply to make us engage in this world so that our mind does not become disturbed. If there is no material work to be done, no issue. Then we should transfer it to the spiritual. So we said to that Mataji, you should become devotee first. When you become devotee, you will have so much to do. You can preach Krishna consciousness. You can cook for Krishna. You can serve Krishna in so many ways. Why to worry about a job? Job is only for money. And those who are earning money, they are already in tension. So any material work should not be the cause of anxiety. It should be tried to be sublimated or replaced with some spiritual activity. That is what here Srila Prabhupada also mentions, that one can think of Krishna at time of death, he can be transferred to the spiritual world. They train their mind in order that they will be unable to remember anything other than Krishna. कृष्ण को ही याद करना. अभी जीवन में सब कुछ अच्छा चलेगा ना, कृष्ण को हम कभी याद नहीं कर पाएंगे मरते समय, 100% गारंटी. जीवन में अगर सब कुछ अच्छा चला, हम कृष्ण को याद नहीं कर पाएंगे. If everything goes rightly, we cannot remember Krishna at time of death. When we go through intense emotion of suffering, because every one of us have attachment in this world, we are attached to something. When we go through intense way of suffering, and through that suffering we give up that attachment, then that attachment giving up and then attachment towards Krishna simultaneously happens, because we are following devotional path, and that causes our remembrance for Krishna. Yes, this is Krishna consciousness. So this is important. So Srila Rupa Goswami further advises Tishtan Braje. So Braj Bhumi, what is the Mahatva of Braj Bhumi? Is this only? Now somebody can ask if Prabhupada was Raganuga Bhakta or not. So Prabhupada is a pure devotee. So he is already from Vrindavan. So Prabhupada taught devotees to to different disciples to write books, to do book distribution, to do Harinam, to open temples. So these are the instructions also given by Guru Srila Prabhupada to follow till the end of the breath. Like we don't find Gopal Goswami Maharaj recently, he passed away from this world. So we don't find that he is going to Braj Bhumi and practicing some anuragi kind of thing. So he continued his seva to Srila Prabhupada, whatever it was given to him. So somebody can ask you what we should do. Diye karna hai ki wo karna, because some Babajis are teaching also Raganuga Bhakti. Okay, come, we will teach you how to become Anuragi Jana. So Anuragi Jana बनने के लिए ऊपर clearly लिखा है कि should be under guidance. Like some Maharaj may also give some Raganuga initiation also. That also happens, Raganuga initiation. So if our Guru is not giving, we should not worry, because everything is under the process in Parampara. Everything is under Parampara. But one should not give up the bona fide Guru and go to some other Guru thinking that I will become Raganuga Bhakta. That is not recommended here at all. It is clearly mentioned. See, the glory is to the Parampara. The whole glory is to the Parampara. Means whatever we have advanced because of Parampara mercy and our endeavor is surely there. Now at the time when Raganuga is coming, that time we give up the Parampara and take up some other Parampara or some other person. Until one's Guru falls down, it is mentioned in scripture, when one can give up his spiritual master. One can give up his spiritual master when he falls down from the bhakti path or from parampara, and he starts preaching something else and he is becoming divergent, he becomes. That time one can give up the Guru. But till that time, if it's not there, one should not give up Guru. It's become Guru Avagya or Guru Aparad. Guru Aparad. So one cannot give up the Guru. And Krishna in the heart of Guru, he's a Chaitya Guru. He guides the Guru, okay, this is a disciple, now you should do this thing to him. Like that. So, the Vrindavan, you have mentioned, the Braj Bhumi. Vrindavan is one of Braj Bhumi. So, 84, 84 crores. Somewhere it is also said it's like 100 crores is also there. Some Puranas they mention 100 and some mention 84. Okay. When one makes Vrindavan a residence, he should take shelter of advanced devotee there. क्या लिखा है? Advanced devotee. So वृंदावन में ऐसे रहना नहीं चाहिए. कई कैसे रहना चाहिए? जब तक गुरु का आदेश ना हो तब तक रहना नहीं चाहिए. Because we can commit some offenses also. Not only here only mention that we should advance in that way. 24 hours अगर हमारा mind engaged है तो then it's very good place for living. Otherwise, Prabhupada says just be in the temple, just do the seva. जो बोला जा रहा है वो करो. Don't roam here and there finding out some Baba who's Siddha Pranali mantra who is going to give me. Krishnam Smaran Janam Chasya. So now he mentioned. Again, Rup Goswami states in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.295 Seva Sadhaka Rupena Siddha Rupena Chatrahi Tad Bhava Lipsuna Karya Braja Lokanu Sarata. In the transcendental realm of the Braja Bhumi, one should serve the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna with a feeling similar to that of his associates, and one should place himself under the direct guidance of the particular associate of the Krishna and should follow in his footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana, spiritual practice executed while in the stage of bondage, and in the stage of sadhya, God realization, when one is a siddha purusha or a spiritually perfect soul. Okay. So same thing, one has to follow under the guidance. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has commented as follows upon this verse. One has not yet developed interest in Krishna consciousness, one who has not, should give up all material motives and train his mind by following the progressive regulative principles, namely chanting and remembering Krishna and his name, form, qualities, pastime, and so forth. In this way, after developing a taste for such things, one should try to live in Vrindavan and pass his time constantly remembering Krishna's name, fame, pastime, and qualities under the direction and protection of an expert devotee. This is the sum and substance of the instruction regarding the cultivation of devotional service. बहुत क्लियरली बता दिया है ना. तो धाम में कब रहना है? जब हम ट्रेन हो जाए, when we become trained. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not want to send Jagadanand Pandit. He said, you go for some days and come back immediately. And there also you should go and live under protection of Sanatana Goswami. Don't go here and there because you may commit offenses by seeing the spontaneous bhakti of Brajvasis. So one can commit offense. And that will become very troublesome for our bhakti advancement. So therefore, here mentioned that one has to train his mind by progressive regulative principles. That's why Prabhupada did not allow 64 rounds chanting at Radha Kund, because he understood we are not qualified yet. But it is not once again mentioned that one should not do. Later, वो बाद में आएगा, अभी नहीं. निर्जन भजन अभी नहीं होगा, वो बाद में हो सकता है, अभी नहीं. In the neophyte state, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. Always one should engage hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravana Dasha. So that's why the bhakti begins with Shravanam Kirtanam. Yes, hearing from pure devotees, hearing from the representative of Krishna about Krishna's pastime. That is Krishna Katha. So this is Shravana Dasha. So these are some, now we are learning the dasas. Dasa means stage. The stage of hearing. So when one is in stage of hearing, are we in the stage of hearing? Yes, we are still on the stage of hearing. We are hearing. Okay, we are hearing about Krishna Katha. By constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing his transcendental form, qualities and pastime, one can attain to the stage of acceptance, Varana Dasa. So he becomes Varana. Varana matlab accept kar lena. You accept it. So this hearing itself is causing, like if somebody is eating, so then if he eating, then his weight will increase. because he is accepting now. So putting food, so energy is, food is going inside, getting digested and converted into the glucose and then energy and then whatever blood, everything. So then his weight will increase. So he has accepted it. So one who is hearing nicely the holy name, pastimes, qualities, then what will happen? His acceptance of Krishna consciousness will increase. There is no reluctance. Reluctance कम होगा और acceptance बढ़ेगा because he is hearing. So this is one of the way to increase our acceptance of Krishna philosophy or Krishna Tattva is to hear more. This is the simple. तो जैसे कभी के बच्चों को, छोटे बच्चों को क्या कुछ खिलाते हैं ना, बच्चों का वेट बढ़ाने के लिए कुछ खिलाते हैं, तो वो खाते नहीं है बच्चे, उनको वो खिलाना पड़ता है. जैसे बच्चे बचपन में उनको दाल रोटी खिलाया जाता है, जब तो दाल रोटी नहीं खाते तो कैसे फोर्स करके खिलाना पड़ता है. तो हमें अपने को वर्ण दशा तक लाने के लिए मीन्स टू फॉलो द ऑर्डर ऑफ गुरु, फॉलो द ऑर्डर ऑफ कृष्णा. इफ़ यू वांट टू डू दैट देन इंक्रीज योर हियरिंग कैपेसिटी. हियरिंग बढ़ा दो. हियरिंग बढ़ा दोगे तो एक्सेप्टेंस बढ़ेगा. एंड व्हेन वन अटेन्स टू दिस स्टेज ही बिकम्स अटैच्ड टू hearing of Krishna Katha because he started liking now. Earlier it was a practice done with force, but now liking, that is Varana Dasha, is liking. Now, when one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of Smarana Avastha. Smarana Avastha is a avastha of 1 minute. Just see there. Shravana Dasha, stage of hearing. Varana Dasha, stage of acceptance. Smarana Avastha, the stage of remembering. So 5 types are there in Smarana Avastha. Smarana Avastha Dasha. So, and the last comes is Apan Dasha ya Sampatti Dasha. So what are the 5 types? First we'll learn that. So 5 types are here. कृष्ण को स्मरणावस्था में 5 चीज़ें होती है. पहला क्या होता है? स्मरण होता है, जिसको रिकलेक्शन बोलते हैं. रिमेम्बरेंस ऑफ कृष्णा, लॉर्ड कृष्णा मे बी इंटरप्टेड और डिस्ट्रैक्टेड एट इंटरवल्स. और मैं ट्राई टू रिमेंबर कृष्णा और हिज पास्ट टाइम, बट इट इज गेटिंग डिस्टर्ब्ड. दैट इज स्मरण. Then how this स्मरण is happening? Because one has heard a lot. Hearing, see, from hearing it has started. Hearing and then is the recollection. He is recollecting those past times. And recollection means remembrance. The remembrance is remembering those past time, trying to absorb in that. Then the next is absorption, dharana. Later on, remembrance proceed in uninterrupted. So unless one, so why we many times we hear from Guru that we have to absorb in Krishna pastime. This is why. Because then remembrance becomes constant. When you are absorbed in Krishna pastime or remembering Krishna pastime, your remembrance is continuous. So absorption is required. Then meditation. उसके आगे meditation, ध्यान चालू होता है. Then we are meditating in Krishna's pastime. What Krishna is doing. Because we've heard a lot. Then we are meditating. Krishna is doing this thing, Krishna is doing that thing. Meditation. Remembrance becomes concentrated. Then constant remember, anusmriti, when meditation expands and becomes constant. So dhyan is there beginning and then anusmriti. And the last trance, uninterrupted, unceasing anusmriti, entirely free from impediments, wholly uninterrupted. So surely to come to these stages, mind has to be controlled. Therefore it is said, mind control चाहिए. तभी ये सब होगा. स्मरण, एब्जॉर्प्शन, स्मरण, धारणा, ध्यान, अनुस्मृति, समाधि. These are the 5 steps of स्मरणावस्था. ठीक है. और लास्ट क्या है? आपन दशा या संपत्ति दशा. मीन्स संपत्ति मीन्स यू हैव गॉट द वेल्थ. नाउ यू हैव गॉट द वेल्थ. कृष्णा इज आवर वेल्थ. So that Krishna, after Smarana Dasa or Samadhi has fully developed, the soul comes to understand his own original position and obtains one's spiritual form in the spiritual realm. So he attains his spiritual form. He gets the spiritual form. So we hear that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, while he was chanting, he mentions that the holy name just controls all the senses and mind. All the senses and mind are controlled. So in advanced stage, he's saying how what happens to him when he was chanting the holy name. He controlled everything. Now holy name overtakes the soul. It overpowers him. And then he says that holy name is now takes me, gives me first the my sarup deha, what is the my deha in spiritual world, and then takes me to the kunj of Radha. Radha Krishna groups there उधर कुंज में लेके मेरे को जाते हैं, and he's showing me their pastime. The holy name is taking that. It means the holy name is doing everything. Holy name is the personality, the Lord himself. The holy name is giving the sarup deha and then taking the person into the pastime of the Lord. This is sampatti tasa. So how the Bhaktivinoda Thakur has reached to that stage? Because he has crossed smarana avastha. वो स्मरण समाधि में चले गए तब. Like when we go to Mayapur, we go to the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so we see the one small place where he used to chant. चैंटिंग वाला वो कितना एकदम अंधेरा रहता है, एकदम बंद. मतलब पहले के लोग जब भी करते थे तो कोई डिस्टर्बेंस, मीन्स द रूम शुड बी वेरी स्मॉल रूम एंड वन जस्ट covers himself, no disturbance, or just chanting Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Very attentive chanting. So that is the process. So this is a samadhi. Chaitanya Charitamrit advises those who are neophyte to give up all kinds of motivated desires and simply engage in regulative devotional service of the Lord according to the direction of the scriptures. In this way, a neophyte can gradually develop attachment for Krishna's name, fame, form, qualities, and so forth. When one has developed such attachment, he can spontaneously serve the lotus feet of Krishna even without following the regulative principles. Spontaneously means raganuga. This stage is called rag bhakti or devotional service in spontaneous love. At that stage, the devotee can follow in the footstep of one of the eternal associate of Krishna in Vrindavan. This is called Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti or spontaneous devotional service can be executed in Santaras when one aspires to be like Krishna's cows, or a stick or flute in the hand of Krishna. So Krishna का flute बनना है या उनका डंडा बनना है या गाय बनना है, ये सांतरस. This is a Santaras, okay? Or the flower around the Krishna's neck, if somebody wants to become flower around Krishna's neck. Now see, this is not artificial. Once again, the bhava the bhava what we are discussing here in Raganuga, it's a eternal bhava. It's not, we read na there also, generally the bhav bhakti, at the bhav bhakti. So Raganuga is just little before bhav bhakti. It's a little before bhav bhakti. Raganuga starts. So now that bhava is not like we sometimes think of Krishna's pastime. वो वाला भाव नहीं, वो eternal भाव है. That bhava is connected with our sarupa. So somebody can become flower garland around the neck of Krishna, always remaining with Krishna. Or somebody can become a stick of Krishna, or flute of Krishna, or Krishna's cows. In the Daseras, one follows in the footstep of the servant like Chitrak, Patrak, Raktak. ये तीन और भी बहुत हैं, but ये main है. Chitrak, Patrak, Raktak. In the friendly Sakhiras, one can become a friend like Baldev, Sridama, or Sudama. In Vatsaliras, characterized by parental affection, one can become like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And in Madhuriras, characterized by conjugal love, one can become like Srimati Radharani or her lady friends such as Lalita and her serving maids Manjaris like Roop and Rati. This is the essence of all instruction in the matter of devotional service. So in this shloka, everything Srila Prabhupada mentioned. Ahead also it is going to be explained more, that what is one's goal in one's life. Not to pamper this body, not to think that this body is all in all, this world is all in all, or how much I can grab in this world and happy in this world, but दिस वर्ल्ड इज नथिंग बट वर्ल्ड ऑफ अ साधना. साधना करने के लिए संसार मिला है, साधना करना है. संसार उधर है, साधना इधर है. साधना करने के लिए शरीर मिला है, संसार मिला है. सो वी हैव टू डू साधना हियर. दैट इज द राइट गोल of a person who understand that we are not this body, we are soul, we are Krishna Das, and we have to become eternal servant of Krishna. In a proper way we have to become situated. Okay, so this is one thing. एक मिनट. किसी को कोई प्रश्न है? एनी क्वेश्चन? आई एम सर्चिंग आउट सम पीपीटी. एनी क्वेश्चन?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Can I ask?
Yeah, yes, you can ask.
Prabhuji, you were explaining the bad things of the mind in which distorter, that means holding on the past prejudice or past impressions and reactions, and seeing present situation with those past prejudice. So this happens in ISKCON also, with devotees also. Like devotees, if some devotee, when we enter in ISKCON, we start chanting. At that time we are totally in a very neophyte, and with material conception we are seeing ISKCON and devotees also. So we commit offenses, we commit mistake, and later on, over the years of practice, we understood that where we were wrong, and we try to improve ourselves. But what happens? Most of the devotees hold on that prejudice, that this person, they label you, this person is like this, that's it. So don't we have the faith in our process? This is such a wonderful process which Prabhupada has given us, which transforms you. So after, if you have spent so many years in ISKCON, still why don't you give up those prejudices? Someone is trying to improve, someone is trying to cultivate himself or herself. Why not to push him or give him a chance or her a chance? That is my question.
Srila Prabhupada, when anybody criticizes devotee from outside, so he always defended his devotees. Like he said that their pronunciation may not be good, but their enunciation is good. Srila Prabhupada one time he also said in lecture, see these American boys and girls, they have given up all their sense gratification and they are just after me, and I am simple sadhu. I am not paying any money to them, and even if you give them crore dollar also if you give, they will never give up Krishna consciousness. Later somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, you are saying in lecture like that. So the Prabhupada said, don't take undue advantage of it. I give that much money and then I know that we are still vulnerable. We can still go away. Because unless somebody comes to Nishtha stage, is anartha they have not gone away. Till Nishtha, there is a expectant already that there will be some fallacy in behavior of devotee. There will be something will be there. यस, गड़बड़ रहेगा ही उसमें. भगवान खुद नहीं बोलते. भगवान बोलते अपिचेतस दुराचारो भजते माम अनन्य भाग. He is himself telling he is my devotee. He is a wrong-doing person, but he is my devotee. So he is a wrongdoer, but there Acharya says one should not take the undue advantage of this statement that okay, devotees can do anything and still remain a devotee. So then therefore we clarified that a neophyte who is a Prakritik Sahajiya, who is a Prakrit Bhakta, who is a neophyte, and then Madhyama. So the devotee has to change his behavior slowly. He has to change, and for that, education and training is there. Therefore, yesterday also I mentioned, simply initiation does not qualify one to become a good devotee. It's a beginning. he has to train himself, or he should be trained with education, and education and training has to be the prasikshan. Disciple means sasan, who has agreed to become controlled or ruled by the instruction of scriptures or instruction of guru. So means whatever his actions are there, it should be controlled through the scriptures or guru. But if he's not doing, means he's taken initiation but is not improving himself. So this is another challenge in our society also. This is reality. Challenge is how to guide and train and educate so many disciples. Initiations are happening, but training is not happening that much good way. Training is not happening. So people are in their own way. They think, okay, this is the way bhakti should be done. तो ऐसे करना है. And then after some time they become leader. And once they become leader, then what happens? Their understanding becomes the precedence. Yeah, this is the way we should do bhakti. ऐसा ही होना चाहिए. There are so many places the people, they don't preach themselves, and they don't allow also others to come. They say no, ये मेरा area, आना नहीं यहाँ पे, ये मेरा area. Big devotees. वो मेरा एरिया, आना नहीं आपको. So these anarthas are there in the devotees also. So therefore education and training, it is most important. And actually why the lacking is there, Srila Prabhupada very clearly mentioned, if one follow 4 regulatory principles, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and chant 16 rounds attentively, then he will not fall trap to Maya. Prabhupada mentions, यानी ये जो 4 नियम कई लोग फॉलो नहीं कर रहे ठीक से. इसको फॉलो करने का तरीका क्या है? इसको फॉलो एक्सटर्नली उतना दिखता नहीं है. बेसिकली when such thought comes in our mind, because we are hearing from Guru, that thought has to be nipped in the bud. उसको दबाना है, उसे खत्म करना है, फिनिश करना है. Like Yamunacharya also says the same thing. Whenever such thought comes, my desire to serve Krishna increases, and then that thought I spit on that. He says that. So in the similar way, one should not relish the material advancement, one should not relish material attractions, one should not relish those things. In mind one is relishing, and then externally he is a devotee. So then one should be having that repentance in his heart. My Lord, what I am doing, I am not your devotee. You just put the tilak, the kanti mala laga liya, tilak laga liya, mala jap rahe, but I am not devotee. I am fallen, my Lord, I am fallen. So this attitude, therefore Krishna mentions in Gita, ipchaptum mam ipchaptum dhananjaya, along with following 4 principles of bhaktis, or 64 principles, one should have desire to attain Krishna. And anyone who has desire to attain Krishna, he will surely improve, because it is not artificial desire. It is a desire which has been awakened through bhakti. So the one who is doing bhakti, who is sincere about bhakti, serious about bhakti, Rajanath Maharaj says, one who is sincere, serious, and having no ulterior motive can easily see Krishna. He can see Krishna. Krishna will give darshan. So sincere in the following the process of bhakti. Serious means I want to attain Krishna in this life. This is serious. Sincere, ठीक है. He is sincere. His purpose is right. His intention is right. And he is also following some process. Serious means he is really doing it. Many times we are not serious about Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says to his foreign disciple, my only worry is you are not sufficiently fearful of Maya. Means you are not very serious. You may be chanting, dancing and feasting, but you are not very serious about Krishna consciousness. The seriousness has to be there, and then no ulterior motive. Many times, now here what we are reading in 8th sloka, what he says, one has to give up ulterior motive. यही बोला है ना, ये अल्टीरियर मोटिव की बात चल रही है. यहीं पे प्रॉब्लम फंस जाता है. अभी किसी को कोई टेम्पल मिल गया तो वहाँ का प्रेसिडेंट बन जाता है, तो फिर अल्टीरियर मोटिव हो जाता है उसका कि अब मेरे हिसाब से सब कुछ चलेगा. And it is good also, no issue. You run the temple, but then principle should be devotional principle. So here it is mentioned. See, Yes, one who has not yet developed the interest in Krishna consciousness. Who has developed interest in Krishna consciousness? All of us are trying. Should give up all material motives. All material motive one should give up and train his mind by following the progressive regulative principles. So give up the wrong thing and take up the right thing. That is the process given. So this is for sure one who takes to the path of bhakti properly. प्रॉपरली इन द सेंस, अगर मान लो कोई मंगल आरती के लिए भी आ रहा है, चैंटिंग कर रहा है, चार नियम पालन कर रहा है, भागवतम का भी श्रवण कर रहा है, भले घर पे भी कर रहा है, कोई बात नहीं, इधर नहीं आ रहा है, घर पे कर रहा है, वन इज फॉलोइंग सर्टेन रूल्स रेगुलेशंस ऑफ भक्ति नाइसली, रीडिंग बुक्स ऑफ प्रभुपाद, trying to also serve some Vaishnavas in day-to-day life. So he is at least understanding what is right, what is wrong. That intelligence he is having. Even though he may sometimes do wrong thing, but he understands. So therefore, devotees should not be judged immediately. This is also one thing. Because devotees, their cleansing process is a responsibility of Krishna actually. Krishna never says that, devotee, you clean. He says, you hear my katha, I clean your heart. He says that. I will clean your heart, you hear my katha. So if the devotee, we just now learned, simply hearing Shravana Dasha karta rahega, to Varana Dasha mein aa jayega. Acceptance, कि what Krishna is telling me, I will follow. I will follow. So his hearing is not become complete till now. He is not hearing only. कोई लोग सुन ही नहीं रहे, कोई लोग दूसरा कुछ सुन रहे, कोई न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रहा है, इनिशिएशन ले लिया है और वो ऐसे ऐसे कर रहे, तो फिर वो तो फिर गलत ही हो गया ना. So that is why then these anarthas will come. Because another thing, if our chanting is not attentive, then the same chanting gives water to the weeds of anarthas. So there is a Bhakti Lata beach, Bhakti Lata plant is there. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bhakti Lata plant is there, and this Bhakti Lata plant, surrounding it is the weeds. What is the weeds? Jiva Hinsa, Kuti Nati, then Jiva Hinsa, Kuti Nati, and Pratishtha, and 3-4 more are there. So then these are the weeds which are grown with the Bhakti Lata beej only, with chanting only. Chanting only helps them to grow. When chanting is inattentive, the water of chanting goes to the weeds and then they grow. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says sometimes because of inattentive chanting they grow so much that the Bhakti Lata is not visible only weeds are visible and they are similar to Bhakti Lata. Then person start thinking this is a Bhakti. वो weeds को पकड़ के भक्ति समझ बैठता है. क्यों? क्योंकि उसने अनर्थ को शुरू में क्लीन नहीं किया है. He has not cleansed the anarthas, he has not worked upon the anarthas, he was inattentive in bhakti long time, and so these weeds have grown up. Now he remains neophyte. And why he remains neophyte? Because he is not listening from Guru properly, that I should be attentive in bhakti. He is not listening properly, he is not doing his Sravana and Kirtanam properly. So that's why the weeds come and weeds start growing, and weeds become the goal of his bhakti. He thinks that bhakti means to become famous, whatever way I can become famous, ऐसा ही होना चाहिए, वैसे ही होना चाहिए. तो ये weeds उसका गोल हो जाता है भक्ति का. तो डेंजर है ये एक्चुअली. There is a story for this. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he gives this story was told by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, that once when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he was a child, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur took him to one village. And then what happened, in that village there was a temple. So then Bhakti Vinod Thakur decided, now it is going to be late night, I should stay here only, next day we will go to the next village. So that in that temple there was something very unique to be seen. Some stones were piled up, like some बच्चे खेलते हैं ना, वो stone ऐसे ऐसे रखे रहते हैं एक एक के ऊपर. तो Bhakti Vinod Thakur was seeing, अरे ये अलग ही दृश्य है. तो he came to know कि there is some ghost, यहाँ पे कोई भूत रहता है, पता लग गया उनको. Anyway, so he asked other people, I want to sleep somewhere where I can. So the villagers also, उनको थोड़ा लोगों को मजा करना होता है. वो बोले, स्वामी जी आप इधर ही सो जाओ, इधर ही, ये अच्छा जगह है, टेम्पल में कोई नहीं आएगा, सो जाओ. So like that they guided him, and then he went, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur started chanting the holy name, and for a long time he chanted the holy name, and the ghost came, he got delivered. And then he also slept, and the next day people came, अरे कुछ हुआ नहीं तुमको? क्या होना है? यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा भूत था, ghost was there. How you did not get affected? So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this this ghost was the ghost of pujari of this temple. इस टेम्पल का पुजारी ही ghost था. And then this how this pujari became ghost, because he was chanting. And people asked him, but he was chanting, how he became ghost? Because he was chanting all the time, but in his mind there was a greed, lust. He was troubling people. He was doing हिंसा towards people. उनको अच्छे से व्यवहार नहीं करना, जैसे न्यूफाइट का हमने सुना था ना कि अच्छे से व्यवहार नहीं करना, उनको गाली देना, उनको कुछ काम कराना, ये करना वो करना है, मतलब जबरदस्ती फोर्स करना, और प्रतिष्ठा, जीव हिंसा, कोटी नाटी डिप्लोमेसी करना. And like that he died. He was chanting only name and he died in this way, and then he became ghost. So Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj says कि one who does not hear from, because this personality did not hear from a pure devotee. इसने शुद्ध भक्त से सुना नहीं कि होली नेम का महत्व क्या होता है, वैष्णव कौन होते हैं, भक्ति क्या होता है. So he was simply chanting, having no संबंध ज्ञान. That's why he became ghost. So his goal was to earn money. लोगों को दिखाना है मैं बहुत बड़ा पंडित हूँ, पुजारी हूँ, चलो दंडवत करो मेरे को, चलो दान निकालो, दान दो, दान भगवान के लिए दान दो, and then using that दान for one's own sense gratification. So then he became ghost. So unless one is connected nicely with the Guru and his Vani, he cannot be improved. So श्रवण दशा, वर्ण दशा आना ही चाहिए, तभी उसके आगे आगे एडवांसमेंट होगा. So it means one who is not improving means his sadhana is very weak. He has to hear from Guru properly and then change his way of working, or also he should be under some guidance so that he can be told this is not good, please do like this. Very simple. Bhakti is not artificial, it's simple. A rigid follower has a guaranteed success. Anybody who is seriously following the process of bhakti, he will have success. Success है उसका, ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं है. अभी मान लो किसी को बहुत बुरे भावनाएं आ रही है, तो हम भक्त लोग क्या करते हैं, माला पकड़ के जब करते हैं. तो वी हैव अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि आई एम रॉन्ग बट कृष्णा विल प्यूरिफाई मी, फिनिश. But if somebody is not taking up mala, thinking that I will read newspaper, I will learn lot of management, how to exploit or how to make myself greater, कुछ कैसे करना है, मैनेजमेंट करना है, ये करना वो करना, but not about bhakti, just to do the work, then in that time what happens, one becomes caught up. ऐसा होता है, कई बार होता है. कई लोग इतने पैशन में चले जाते हैं कि भूल ही जाते हैं भक्तों का प्रिंसिपल. कभी गाली भी दे देते हैं, कभी ये कर देते हैं, वो कर देते हैं. Okay, done, no problem. Come back to hearing and reading once again. Again do your sadhana. Again do your sadhana. The most important for all of us is not a seva. Most important is we have to keep our consciousness good. It's a Krishna conscious society. It's not a society for seva. It's a society for Krishna consciousness, and seva should also be going ahead with consciousness, good consciousness. And if the consciousness is becoming bad, then we should tell to authority, okay, reduce my seva, and I want to now do chanting and hearing. ऐसा.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, now यहाँ पे मैं आपको एक शेयर करता हूँ. ये हमने अभी पढ़ लिया, ठीक है. अभी डिफरेंस बिटवीन वैदिक भक्ति एंड रागन होगा. हाँ, ओके, दिस इज देखिए ये हमने अभी पढ़ा ना, आफ्टर डेवलपिंग, ये हमने जैसा ही पढ़ा, हाउ टू ट्रेन द माइंड, गिव अप ऑल मटेरियल मोटिव्स, एंगेज इन रेगुलेटिव डिवोशन सर्विस अकॉर्डिंग टू द स्क्रिप्चर्स. दिस जस्ट नाउ वी रेड, है ना, उसी का दिया हुआ है. हाउ टू ट्रेन द माइंड अगेन. अच्छा, one should reside in Braj, if not physically then mentally. Till to advanced devotees are absorbed in the remembrance of Krishna and associates. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana and sadhya. So it's not to be said that we are not saying that one should not go to dham, but again the dham either we go today or later, but it should be under some devotee's guidance. It should be like that. Acha, what is the Vaidhi and Lagana? Prabhupada gives a difference. Devotional service must be without ulterior motives. then material conditions cannot check it. Gradually, one can rise to the platform of spontaneous loving service. A child is sent to the school by force to receive an education, but when he gets a little taste of education at an advanced stage, he automatically participates and becomes a learned scholar. आप पढ़ा सकते हैं लेकिन स्कॉलर नहीं बना सकते. स्कॉलर इज द टेस्ट ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल. Yes, one can study, but one cannot, like somebody can study, but one cannot make somebody IITN or MBBS doctor. That is the branch he will choose and the taste he has. So it's like that. So Vaidhi Bhakti is to just make us educated in the science of Bhakti. But Raganuga, it is a personal choice now. उसको खुद से interest आना चाहिए. One cannot force a person to become a scholar, but sometimes force is used to in the beginning. The child is forced to go to school, read and write according to the instructions of his teachers. Such is the difference between the Vaidhi Bhakti and spontaneous Bhakti. इसलिए वैदिक भक्ति में कई बार फोर्स करना पड़ता है. कई बार लोगों को लगता है अरे वैष्णव के साथ आप फोर्स कर रहे हो, ऐसा कैसे. अभी जैसे अगर अगर नियम भी नहीं बनाया गया ना मंगल आरती में उठने के लिए, लाइक वी इन आवर आश्रम, इफ वी रिमूव दिस सिस्टम ऑफ अटेंडेंस and we keep all devotees should now 35 साल हो गए, 20 साल हो गए प्रैक्टिस, अभी छोड़ो अटेंडेंस रजिस्टर हटा दो, डिवोटीज अपने आप उठ के आएंगे. देन यू विल फाइंड आफ्टर सम डेज हाउ मेनी आर गोइंग टू कम, बिकॉज वी हैव नॉट रीच टू रागानुगा. बिफोर रागानुगा इट विल बी डिफिकल्ट, सो देयरफॉर उनको फोर्स करना ही पड़ता है. सो इट इज मेंशन ना, इट्स अ फोर्स, क्योंकि स्पॉन्टेनियस जब तक आया नहीं वो करना पड़ेगा फोर्स. या तो गुरु करेंगे फोर्स, या कोई वैष्णव करेंगे, कोई तो फोर्स करना पड़ेगा ऐसा. दीज आर द प्रिंसिपल्स. चैंट 16 राउंड, फॉलो 64 प्रिंसिपल, स्टडी एंड डिस्कस प्रपात बुक, बोधयंत परस्पर, डेवलप शास्त्र चक्षु, सिंग वैष्णव सॉन्ग, रिक्वेस्ट योर सीनियर ड्यू टू अवार्ड कृष्ण सेवा. ठीक है, ये वैदिक साधना भक्ति. इम्पेटस इज गुरु ऑर्डर. सो दीज आर ऑल द ऑर्डर्स. Krishna conscious is natural, not an imposition. Fire covered by ashes, child mother. These are some example given. It's not an imposition. Like fire is Krishna consciousness is covered by the ashes. So fire is a real thing, and ashes they have to be removed to make the fire come up. And child mother also, like mother is teaching child how to walk. Yes. So walking potential is there in the child. It is real. But that has to be awakened. It has to be given some practice so that it can come out properly. So, and then magnet and nails also. So magnet has to be rubbed so that it can start, because magnet sometimes become rusted or iron become rusted. So this is natural. Attraction between magnet and iron is natural. But why it is not getting attracted? Because iron may be rusted. So rust has to be removed. So Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, when there is no natural attraction and inspiration for practicing devotion service, comes from scriptures or order of Guru. ठीक है, तो ये वैदिक साधना जिसमें नेचुरल अट्रैक्शन नहीं है, फोर्स है, इंस्पिरेशन दिया गया है. ऐसा कई बार बोलते हैं ना, भक्ति प्रभु जी इंस्पिरेशन से करना चाहिए, आप फोर्स क्यों कर रहे हो, इंस्पिरेशन से होना चाहिए. लेकिन इंस्पिरेशन, अभी यहाँ पे क्या बोला, इंस्पिरेशन कहाँ से आना चाहिए, स्क्रिप्चर से. अगर उस व्यक्ति में गुरु का भी ऑर्डर उसको याद नहीं है, स्क्रिप्चर भी याद नहीं है उसको, so then he has to be given some instruction by somebody. Okay, you do that, otherwise वैदिक कैसे होगा वो. तो therefore तस्मात् केना अपि उपायेन, किसी भी उपाय से मन कृष्ण निवेशयत्, किसी भी उपाय से लगाओ मन में, मन को कृष्ण में, किसी भी उपाय से. इसलिए डिवोटीज मेनी टाइम्स दे आर ट्राइंग टू बिकम बिजी इन कृष्ण सेवा. क्यों, कभी लगता नहीं है कि अरे, जैसे कई लोग बोलते हैं बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, मान लो बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का टॉपर भी होगा ना, उसको भी मन में ही करेगा कि यार कभी बैठ के आराम से माला जपूं, थोड़ा भगवान का होगा, उसको मन में करता. बट ही देन ही फोर्सेस हिमसेल्फ. नो, गुरु हैज सेड, नो, गुरु हैज सेड, आई विल गो. टिल द टाइम वन कम्स टू द रागानुगा, ही हैज टू फोर्स हिमसेल्फ, मे बी आर्टिफिशियली, नो वरी. केना अपि उपायेन, मे बी आर्टिफिशियली, इज फोर्सिंग हिमसेल्फ आर्टिफिशियली. अरे क्यों फोर्स कर रहे हो अपने, बिकॉज आई हैव टू मेक माई सेल्फ बिजी एंड दिस इज द इंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ गुरु, आई हैव टू डू दैट. So all of us, we have to keep ourselves busy. So how we can become busy? We have to force ourselves, or somebody should force. Okay, ठीक है, ये कर लो, वो कर लो, चलो नियम बनाओ, आज से मैं श्लोका रिसाइटेशन करूँगा, so that I will learn श्लोका. ठीक है, half an hour श्लोका, every day श्लोका रिसाइटेशन. Okay, some schedule should be there. Okay, now what is next, what I am going to do, अभी ये time को free में क्या करना है, free time में अभी क्या करना है, so I can hear half an hour 15-minute Prabhupada lecture every day और ऐसा. So one has to force oneself, then Vaidhi is continued actually. कोई दूसरा फोर्स करे, शास्त्र को इंस्ट्रक्शन सुनने के बाद हमें फोर्स लगना चाहिए दिमाग में, गुरु के बोलने के बाद लगना चाहिए, दोनों नहीं आ रहा तो खुद से ट्राई करो, फोर्स थोड़ा होना ही चाहिए. ये भक्ति थोड़ा उसी का है. इंस्पिरेशन फॉर प्रैक्टिसिंग कम्स फ्रॉम दिस बिकॉज नेचुरल अट्रैक्शन इज नॉट देयर. एंड रागानुगा, व्हेन द इंस्पिरेशन ऑफ प्रैक्टिसिंग भक्ति कम्स फ्रॉम नेचुरल अट्रैक्शन टू प्लीजिंग कृष्णा, नेचुरल. तो ये जो हमें, जो हम सोच रहे हैं हम इधर हैं, लेकिन हम इधर नहीं, हम इधर है अभी, तो हमें रेगुलेटेड ये वाला करना पड़ेगा. स्पॉन्टेनियस अभी नहीं है. कई बार स्पॉन्टेनियस हम हो जाते हैं, है ना, कोई सेवा अच्छा लगता है तो जैसे बच्चों को स्पॉन्टेनिटी किस में लगती है, खेलने में पूरा दिन खिला दो, स्पॉन्टेनियस है वो. तो हमें भी कभी कभी लगता है कि कोई एक सेवा हो गया, मन करता है करो, तो उसमें फिर रेगुलेशन चाहिए, चैंटिंग भी करना है आपको, रीडिंग भी करना है, ये सब. ठीक है. सो या दिस इज सम स्मर्तव्य सततम विष्णु. हाँ, one has to learn to use a typewriter by following the regulative principle of typing books. One has to place his fingers on the keys in such a way and practice. But when one becomes adept, he can type swiftly and correctly without even looking at the key. है ना, टाइपराइटर में कर उधर भी देख रहा है, इधर भी टाइपिंग कर रहा है, तो वो रागानुगा भक्ति हो गया उसका, बिना देखे टाइपिंग कर रहा है. Similarly, one has to follow the rules and regulation of bhakti as they are set down by spiritual master. Then one can come to the point of spontaneous loving service. This love is already there within the heart of everyone, but because of jaundice we are not able to experience. So it's spontaneous service is not artificial. So this is not artificial. Definition of spontaneous practice: the devotee practicing spontaneous service. See, रागानुगा दो तरीके के. Such devotee performs sadhana with aspiration to attain the mood of specific perfect devotee. ठीक है. सो साधना कर रहा है किस लिए, विद एस्पिरेशन टू अटेन द मूड ऑफ स्पेसिफिक डिवोटी. राधा रानी का मूड, यशोदा मैया का मूड, उसके लिए वो साधना कर रहा है. इज अ प्रैक्टिसिंग. नाउ द डिवोटी परफेक्ट इन स्पॉन्टेनियस सर्विस, सच डिवोटी द इटर्नल रेजिडेंट्स ऑफ वृंदावन हु स्पॉन्टेनियसली लव कृष्णा. So they are like, he's a practicing and he's a perfect one. Ragatmika Bhakti is a perfect devotional attachment found in resident of Vrindavan. Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti is a practice of a devotee who aspires to develop that mood. तो रागात्मिका भक्त यशोदा मैया, बलराम जी, एंड वी ट्राई टू बिकम रागानुगा भक्त, उनके अनु फॉलो करना है. ठीक है. स्पॉन्टेनियस डिवोशन इन प्रैक्टिस. Prerequisite or eligibility for the spontaneous bhakti. What is that? The basic qualification for spontaneous devotion is, in practice, is a very strong desire to serve Lord Krishna in a specific relationship. One can obtain this desire by hearing how eternal associate of Vrindavan spontaneously serve Krishna in various loving moods. So again, when it will come, श्रवण दशा, वर्ण दशा, स्मरणावस्था की बात आ रही है यहाँ पे. ये देखिए क्या वही बात आ रही है. जब हम स्मरणावस्था में पहुंच जाएंगे, व्हेन आवर मेडिटेशन इज वर्किंग प्रॉपरली, वी आर एबल टू थिंक ऑफ कृष्णा's past time, meditate on that time we are eligible for raganuga, that time basically. So first श्रवण दशा, स्मरण दशा, श्रवण वर्ण स्मरणावस्था. तो स्मरणावस्था में जब हम आते हैं तो वहाँ से चालू हो जाता है, मतलब अंदर तक जाने में, थोड़ा मेडिटेशन वाले रोड पे. माइंड फिक्स हो जाना चाहिए, माइंड डिस्ट्रैक्ट नहीं होना चाहिए. One can obtain this desire by hearing and then he's into that mood, in the loving mood. This strong desire, technically called lobha, in the singular, overwhelming desire in one's heart to please Krishna in a particular way. If any other desire shares the heart attention, one does not fully possess lobha. दूसरा कोई डिजायर नहीं, एक ही डिजायर होना चाहिए इस तरीके से. मैं आई एम गोपा एंड आई वांट टू सर्व कृष्णा इन दिस वे, आई वांट टू प्ले विद कृष्णा, I want to lift Krishna, I want to eat lunch with Krishna, I want to go for cow grazing with Krishna. So that pastime is very much attractive and he is always thinking, अभी इस समय मैं कृष्ण के साथ हूँ, कहाँ पे जा रहा हूँ, मैं इधर जा रहा हूँ, because he has heard those pastimes. Now he is trying to meditate on those pastimes slowly. So this is the thing actually. Lobha, he is developing lobha. Therefore one does not obtain attain lobha until he has removed the unwanted material desires from the heart. Generally, this means one must be past the stage of anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti के बाद ये चालू होगा. We must always remember, however, that such eagerness to follow in the footsteps of denizens of Braja is not possible unless one is freed from material contamination. In the following the regulatory principle of bhakti, there is a stage called anartha nivritti, which means disappearance of material contamination. This lobha for pleasing Krishna in certain rasa will only come later. The Raganuga devotee do not follow the regulatory principle of devotional service very strictly, but by spontaneous nature they become attracted to some of the eternal devotees as Nanda Yashoda. This does not mean that Raganuga Bhakta neglects the regulatory principle. It means that their inspiration to serve and surrender is not dependent on the regulatory principles and scriptures because it comes automatically from their own spontaneous affection. So scripture becomes internalized. अभी भक्ति एक्सटर्नल हम सीख रहे हैं, बाद में धीरे धीरे भाव स्टेज तक आने तक ये इंटरनल हो जाएगा भक्ति. अंदर से प्रेरणा आएगी जप करने की, अंदर से प्रेरणा आएगी कथा सुनने की, अंदर से अपने आप. कौन सी कथा सुननी है? हमारी रस वाली कथा, जिस रस में हम जाना चाहते हैं वो वाली कथा. That kind of meditation, that kind of absorption will happen. Srila Prabhupada translated the full Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu text in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. When an advanced realized devotee hears about affairs of devotee in Vrindavan in the mellow of Santa Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, he becomes inclined to one of these ways and his intelligence becomes attracted. Indeed, he begins to covet that particular type of devotion. When such covetousness is awakened, one's intelligence no longer depends on instructions of Shastras or logic or arguments. Therefore, in Vrindavan, logic argument नहीं चलता है. जीव गोस्वामी ने एक बार वल्लभाचार्य को थोड़ा हरा दिया तो रूप गोस्वामी गुस्सा हो गए, बोले तुम बहुत लॉजिक कर रहे हो, निकल जाओ यहाँ से, गो टू. तो जीव गोस्वामी, सो इन ब्रजा, बिकॉज ब्रजा इज what? Raganuga platform. No disturbance by any kind of logic, arguments, शास्त्र, instruction. इसलिए जो उस लेवल पे है ज़्यादा ये सब डिस्कस नहीं करते वो लोग. शास्त्रिक मतलब उनका अंदर से प्रेम का भावना आता है भगवान के प्रति. But how to know somebody is on Raganuga? Only great devotees can know. We cannot know because we are not at that level. तत्तद् भवादि माधुर्ये श्रुते धीर यद अपेक्षते नात्र शास्त्रम न युक्तिम च न शास्त्र न युक्ति च तल्लोभोपत्ति लक्षणम. केवल लोभ ही रागानुगा का लक्षण है. लोभ भगवान को पाने का लोभ, उनको प्लीज करने का लोभ. So sometimes therefore people get deluded. अरे anyway मेरे को तो रागानुगा भक्त बनना है तो चलो हम जाके सीखते हैं दूसरों से. लेकिन and the person is not speaking much scriptures also, so then he is saying it should come from heart. But Prabhupada mentions here okay, it should come from heart, but it should go in an organic way. Are we free from material contamination? No. So why we are forcing that Raganuga right now? No. Just first try to hear more and then try to get freed from contamination, and slowly Guru will tell how you can follow some Ragatmika Bhakta. So remembrance, the three practices of spontaneous devotion, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. तीन practice क्या है? पहला remembrance, remembering Krishna with a particular devotee. The devotee should always think of Krishna within himself and should choose a very dear devotee who is servitor of Krishna in Vrindavan. One should constantly engage in topics about that servitor and his loving relationship with Krishna. And one should live in Vrindavan. If one is physically unable to go to Vrindavan, he should mentally live there. What does it mean? In Vaidhi, many times Guru, Krishna are most important. लेकिन रागानुगा में वैष्णव बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. मतलब क्योंकि वैष्णव को फॉलो करना है ना, वैष्णव को फॉलो करके सीखना है. अब देखो आगे चल के वैष्णव इतने इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं. जैसे राधा रानी इज द टॉप मोस्ट डिवोटी, बट ललिता, विशाखा, रूप मंजरी, रति मंजरी, they become more important for a growing sadhaka, one who wants to attain that rupa. So they become more important. So here the devotee becomes important here. One has to learn the mood, in what mood one should remember Krishna, how he is pleasing, how she is pleasing Krishna. So then that mood has to be imitated in that stage. Imitation करना पड़ता है. Remembrance. All sadhakas practice remembering Lord Krishna, but the spontaneous sadhaka practices remembering Lord Krishna with a particular devotee. The specific devotee one remembers depends on which relationship one aspires for. To constantly remember Lord Krishna, his eternal devotees, one uh, one should take shelter of Vrindavan by living there physically and mentally. Mental residence in Vrindavan is more essential than physical residence, although they are both important. It means if one is physically unable to go to Vrindavan, one should mentally live there. The advanced devotee who is inclined to the spontaneous loving service should follow the activities of particular associate of Krishna in Vrindavan, and he should execute service externally as a regulative devotee as well as internally from the self-realized position. Thus he should perform devotional service both internally externally. दोनों चीज करना ही चाहिए ताकि दूसरों को कंफ्यूजन ना हो जाए. दोनों चीज करना चाहिए. Internally meditate and mentally follow the activities of the siddha form. Externally follow the activities of a sadhaka form. How they have chanted, ate, slept and preached. मतलब बाहर का भी सेवा कर रहा है और अंदर से वो उस डिवोटी को फॉलो कर रहा है. Beware of the सहजियास and reject the misinterpretation of सिद्ध प्रणाली. सिद्ध प्रणाली ये वाला, ये सिद्ध प्रणाली है. इसमें क्या हो रहा है, ये देखो, ये पिकॉक बनने का कोशिश कर रहा है, नाच रहा है. ये गोपी बनने की कोशिश कर रहा है. This Siddha Pranali, what is the problem in Siddha Pranali? These Sahajiyas are prematurely trying to become Raganuga. Prematurely. They have not become free from material contamination and they want to become Raganuga Bhakta. Not possible. That's why they become Sahajiya. तो वन शुड नॉट, बिकॉज ये लोग ये सब बीड़ी उड़ी भी पीते रहते हैं, तंबाकू बीड़ी सब खाते हैं, एंड देन दे वांट टू बिकम रागानुगा भक्ता. नॉट पॉसिबल. Now okay, so we saw that. What is the second one? So first was remembrance of those pastimes. Second was through internal and external service. But the service should be there, internal and external. Okay, and third one is performing activities of sadhana. The spontaneous practitioner does not reject the 64 items of Vaidhi sadhana. He continues to practice them, focusing on the practice most conducive to the specific mood of service. अब गोपी है, तो गोपी को माला बनाना अच्छा है, so then they will make mala. They want to cook something for Krishna. Now cooking also comes in the Yashoda Maya service. Then making a flower bed for Krishna. So some kind of service which is most conducive for that mood, they will do that. Okay. The Rupa Goswami says that learned Acharya recommend that we follow the regulative principle even after the development of spontaneous love for Krishna. One should specifically engage himself in the type of devotional service for which he has naturally aptitude. In this way, everyone should act according to the particular taste. He does not abandon hearing and chanting, but focuses on hearing and chanting topics that specifically nourish his particular serving mood. उस वो वाली पास टाइम को सुनेगा. ठीक है, ऐसा. तो तीन चीज में क्या आ रहा है, भगवान रिमेम्बरेंस, लॉर्ड को रिमेम्बरेंस करना, रिमेम्बरिंग कृष्णा, ट्राई टू रिमेम्बर, देन डू सेवा इंटरनल एंड एक्सटर्नल, एंड देन activities of sadhana also we have to continue, which is conducive for that particular. Okay, this we have read. So ये सब है नाम श्रवण, चरित्र श्रवण, गुणादि श्रवण, स्नेक बाइट एनालॉजी. ठीक है, नेक्टर, शास्त्र सेवा नाम स्क्रिप्चर. So spontaneous loving service in which the devotee follow in the footsteps of one of the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. Even our prayer to Tulsi Maharani is also, it's not a Vaidhi वाला, ये रागानुगा है. जो हम सुबह सुबह प्रे करते हैं, सेवा अधिकार दियो, that is रागानुगा prayer actually. ठीक है, तो ठीक है. Okay, so we have done for today. हमने, किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है, काफ़ी कुछ हमने इसमें से पढ़ लिया. You will be reading those things also in a more elaborate way in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. एक मिनट. ठीक है. शिला प्रभुपाद की जय. विल एंड हियर. शिला प्रभुपाद की जय. NOI की जय।
दिनेश्वर प्रभु की जय।